You are watching Access LaPorte County Channel 97. Coming up next is the May 28th meeting for the LaPorte County Council. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
I'd like to call the LaPorte County Council regular meeting to order. It's May 28th, 2025. Please turn off all cell phones. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence for the members, family, and friends of the Rolling Prairie JV baseball team. Mr. Keel.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Mr. Auditor, if you'd call the roll.
Mr. President Adam Karanka.
Present.
Mr. Vice President Brett Kessler.
Present.
Justin Keel.
Present.
Mike Mullenhour.
Present.
Mr. Randy Novak.
Present.
Jimmy Pressel.
Present.
And Mark Yagelski.
Present.
You have a quorum. Everyone is here.
Thank you. This time I'll ask for a motion of approval of the agenda.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a couple corrections to the agenda at this time. At the bottom of page 1, remove the ordinance. On page 2, remove the LaPorte County Animal Shelter request. And then under LaPorte County HR Director, remove the Drainage Board request. Also have a correction under LaPorte County Highway Department. That number should read 537-02246. Then on page 3, under LaPorte County Sheriff, the public safety number should be under the additional appropriation of $125,000, so that should be 1170.000.0000.00. And then the funding for the technology should come from the 403 account. With that, that's all the corrections I have to the agenda for this evening.
All right, so I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor of approving the agenda?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Now I'll ask for a motion of approval for the April 28th, 2025 meeting minutes.
So moved, Mr. President.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Don't you want to know the minutes?
Second.
Go to discussion.
Okay, so open for discussion, Mr. Keel.
Some potential problems with the minutes. I guess for starters, a lot of these sections under the additional appropriations that we went through have very little details about the discussion that occurred for the items. I think it's not really capturing what happened in the meeting, and it's going to make it difficult when we reflect on this later, or someone's trying to research this in a future point in time to be able to go through some of this. One thing I've noticed, Mr. Mullenhour's last name is spelled wrong in pretty much every instance. He's also still listed as councilwoman on the signature page. Been teasing him about this for about 5 months now, but probably should get that fixed. Under the department head reports, there's a bunch of stuff that got tacked into the park department report that doesn't really make sense there, particularly related to the public health funding and some of the legislative changes. Probably should be in a separate section. Under the emergency repair declaration and discussion, frankly, I think it cuts way too much out. There was quite a bit of discussion that happens, and this really shortens it. Also, definitely not happy with the original version of this minutes, which referred to me as a conference room participant. I would probably I'd make an amendment to the motion to hold this over for a month and make some additional changes to this and make sure it's cleaned up and accurate. So that would be my motion.
Your amendment, there's a motion and a second.
So you're asking for
an amendment.
Yeah, I need a friendly.
We have a motion and a second on the floor.
Yeah, so motion and a second. Are you willing to accept the friendly amendment?
I don't care. Sure.
All right, you got it in a second? You good with this? All right, so So we got a motion and a second with an amendment to hold over for the next meeting with some additional adjustments. And Justin, would you be willing to participate in?
Sure, happy to.
Okay. All in favor of adjusting the minutes and holding over till next month? Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you. Public comment. Would anyone from the public like to speak? And just as a recommendation for both the public and for department heads, if you would state your name and address, or state your name and department, depending on where we're at, for the record. Thank you.
Steve Hollifield, 6782 East, 100 South, County Commissioner also. Over the last 2 weeks, I had the privilege of meeting with Charity and Andrew and their staff and see the demonstration of the vac truck. That's an asset this county's going to be able to use, especially if we start pursuing sewers up there in Hudson Lake and Saugony Lake. And over the years, I've purchased a lot of heavy equipment, both brand new and used. Used heavy equipment is very, very hard to come by. That is very good used equipment. So I think the purchase of a new truck is going to be an endeavor that's well meant to be. Also, tomorrow evening, 6 to 8, as you all have got the email, just want to hope you're be able to attend tomorrow at the town hall and answer the public's questions and get some of the social media BS put out of the way. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public like to approach the board?
I haven't shut my mouth off. George Callis, Tornado Drive, LaPorte. I don't know, about 3 months ago, I think, I gave everybody a sheet of paper with all kinds of junk on it, comments, bitching, whatever you want to call it. Not one of you answered. Not one. Not one said, George, shut up. None of those things make sense. This one makes sense. That one makes sense. Whatever. Okay, that's on the side. Last week, I think Mr. Saby came and he said that he needs a new vehicle. Okay? I don't think he needs a new vehicle. He may need to transfer his vehicle to somebody that doesn't need a big vehicle and just do a flip-flop. He doesn't need or some of the vehicles, it appears to me, I'm an outsider again, are not being used properly or not being used to their fullest extent. So we could probably just flip-flop them and not have another vehicle to be bought, not spend another $50,000. Okay, I don't, right, wrong, I'm voicing my opinion. The next thing is the new EMS building design. I don't think the commissioners gave us numbers on how much everything was or who was low bidder or nothing. They just gave us a recommendation. I got burned a few years ago by bidding something at 100,000, next one 125, next one 150,000. Well, the $150,000 got the job because they knew they were going to get it, and all they did was sublet it to the middle guy, which I guess is okay, but this one doesn't do nothing except answer a telephone and a post office box, and this one did all the work. So what I'm saying is, whatever the low bidder was, maybe you guys don't even know the low bidder. That's what you should fund. If the low bidder is $1 million and we're going with $1.5 million, give them the million, not the $1.5 million. I don't know the figures. I don't remember figures. I don't remember even hearing figures.
I don't think it's going out for bid.
Oh, they're not. No, it is out for bid, right?
RFQ right now,
Well, that's the engineering part, right? And we're not allowed to hear that number
when it gets out.
when it gets out. Okay, I
It
guess
hasn't come in yet.
it hasn't come in yet.
The numbers haven't come in yet.
How did the commissioners give them the job if there's no numbers?
They went out for proposals on somebody to oversee it, and then I think they're going, is that correct? Yes. Right.
So why do we need to oversee it?
It's a commissioner's thing. It's not.
Okay, that's, okay. Okay, yeah, come tomorrow, we'll discuss that. But anyway, I said what I had to say.
Thanks, George.
Much appreciated. Thank you.
Mr. Callis, my apologies for not getting back to your letter. I did just look it up.
I know everybody's busy, but I would think 1 out of 7 would say George is full of shit.
I used,
You should know, I did just check, and I got it on March 26th, but the letter was dated the 24th of February, so there was a delay in it getting to us.
I don't know how that was. I answered.
He handed it to me, we handed him out.
Okay,
These are
then
the
maybe this
folders,
was a different email then.
not an email.
oh, this wasn't an, it wasn't an email. I always respond to your emails.
Yeah.
Right.
Sometimes you don't.
I'll let,
That's it. Somebody else.
Thank you, Mr. Callis.
No, not Mr. George.
Yes, sir.
thank you, George.
Thank you, sir.
Anyone else from the public? Anyone on Zoom from the public?
That letter, would you? You got it? 'Cause
That public comment is now closed. Department head reports.
Good evening, Marika Beatty, Director, LaPorte County Community Corrections. I had forwarded an email to you gentlemen in regards to modifying one of our vehicles to put a partition in. And I just wanted to formally bring it before you. I spoke with Mr. Karanka. I would like to utilize the formerly known commissary account so that it doesn't cost the county anything at all for us to put this in, but I didn't want to have it done without acknowledging the county council before it's done. So I think I emailed everyone. I do have a copy here if somebody would like to see it. If you have any questions.
Is this the email that came today about 4 o'clock?
Absolutely.
I think it's just, this is a protection thing so that if you're
Yes, it'll
transporting
make-
somebody in the back seat,
So,
front seat are safe.
Yeah, 2 of our female officers was attacked a couple of years ago by a participant when they were transporting that person, and so.
so if you wouldn't mind,
Protection.
could you go into a little bit more detail that we talked about yesterday on the quoting process and how you tag teamed with the juvenile services?
So I was sitting in one of the council meetings and I overheard Director Campbell talk about a secured vehicle when he was obtaining his vehicles. And so I approached him after the meeting and asked him when he got a quote if he would include a car for me in it, because I thought we may get a better deal if we got, a 2-for-1. And so he did include my vehicle in, and we did indeed get a better price. And so he got a
For
quote.
clarification, it's for the protection thing, it's not for a car.
Correct.
Correct.
It's for the protection thing, and when you said that, it kind of made it
Yeah,
sound
no,
like
we already have the
Keon
vehicle.
included a car for you in his, yeah.
Right, we already have the vehicle. We just want to get
Right.
the
Yep,
partition
yep,
put in.
100%. Yep.
Yeah, that's what I was going to mention too, but about the car. But did you investigate, and I hate to put more work on the sheriff's department, but installing that cage? I know they've done them in the past. This is a screen between the seats, right?
Right.
Yeah. Have
No,
you-
they just, the
Which would save-
individuals that they went through, it was an all-in-one price with installation, freight charges, and the actual cost.
I think the installation was what, $500?
Yes.
That'd be $500 we could save if that be possible. You might want to talk to the sheriff about that.
Yeah, if we look at it in the future, I think so. But I want to commend you on the fact of just independently working with the other departments to work on trying to drive costs down. So thank you.
So am I okay to get it done, or do you want me to talk to the sheriff's department first?
Has it been installed yet?
No, it hasn't, but I am holding them up because
So-
they're ready to go.
At this point, jurisdiction is what the formerly known, and excuse me for not having the name of the account I had it since we renamed it, but what has been funded by commissary funds is under your discretion as long as it's used for the benefit of the program for the participants, which this falls under. I would say it's under your discretion, but I suggest that you approach the vendor to see if there's any impact to the price of having it installed locally if the sheriff's garage can actually install it.
Okay.
And there is one other thing. You mentioned that it's no cost to the county, but when I was the sheriff and I always went before the council, I was reminded by several councilmen, one still here, that that is county money, because it's money that comes back to the county, I know, but it's county money, so.
Okay. It doesn't affect budgeted money.
Correct. It's not tax income. It's not state grant income. It comes down from the participant program.
Correct.
Yep. All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good evening, Dan Barney, LaPorte County Treasurer. Just a little recap, we finished our first collections. We collected a little over $90 million. We are current on all payments by mail and by internet. A couple issues we did have, obviously the construction in front of the building was a little hard for our residents to get in the building when half the parking was gone. I understand there's nothing we can do about a broken pipe, but that is really the one complaint that a lot of our, especially our elderly people had, is how far they had to walk to get in the building. The May 12th, the last day of collections, our online service was having hiccups. They were getting overloaded, I believe, and we had some customers who couldn't get their online payments in. We've tracked the ones who have called in and complained, and we're going to work with them on the penalties on that. And the only other issue we're having is our 2 o'clock software issue. So about 2 o'clock every day, the software wants to shut down. We got to reboot our computers. So we're working with Darlene on that. She is aware of that, and I don't think she knows how to fix it yet. One other thing I want to bring up is an employee we hired. Just want to remind the council that you guys voted on a first deputy at Comet 6. It was advertised by our HR department as a Comet 6. The new employee was given the job description from our HR department that said it was a Comet 6. And if you go online, look under the LaPorte County website, under the council, you look under salary ordinances for 2025, treasurers, it says it's a Comet 6. So I would really appreciate if someone could tell me what we have to do to get this fixed.
Mr. President, not just the question answering, but I don't remember. I remember what was it? I thought we voted for a 5. So I don't remember those minutes. I'd like to see the minutes because I don't remember agreeing to a 6.
In this particular case, we asked for it to go back to the.
Never went through the job evaluation.
Never went through
to
it,
the
right.
job evaluation.
So it went to job evaluation. I thought it was. It went through first half of an evaluation. For the folks that are on the job evaluation committee, can you help me out with what happened?
The first meeting, it was held over for more additional information. The second one was scheduled when I was out of town. So
I was not invited to the second one either, so I didn't know about
I
it.
went at the second one, so.
Yeah, I believe we were waiting for more info from you on what all happens inside the department. So we had requested some flow sheets or flow charts.
And I turned in, actually, you were requested a flow chart, and they requested that we rewrite the job descriptions, which we did, and we turned them all into HR, and I've heard nothing out of it.
Yep, so we didn't come to a conclusion at our last meeting.
That's not what the email I got, so, okay, that's interesting. Thank you for that information.
Again, I don't remember voting as just a point of order. I don't remember
Never
ever.
come before the
It
council.
hasn't come back for us.
We remember discussing the 5, and I do remember that comment because we were saying it should have been a 5. That's our comment. But I don't ever remember voting for this comment. So I just want to make sure that.
Well, I want to let you know the job description I turned into the chairman of your council here.
I might hear
Said it was a Comment 6, and I forwarded him a copy.
I'm not here to debate it, so that's going to.
You know, I just want to let everyone know that I've been forthright with everybody on this.
But we did not vote that way.
So,
Okay.
We did not vote that way.
So if you would, reapproach Director Thomas in HR. I'm going to do the same, just to motivate to where we get the second half of this meeting resolved, and so that we can get this ball rolling. And just in order to have, some kind of continuity of information so that these folks can do what they have to in order to support the Comment 6, so you believe that it's necessary, especially based off of the post.
all the information that the county has on this job. It's a Comment 6, published on your website and everything, so
100%, I understand.
that's where I'm at. I want to know how we get this solved, because you had a new employee sign something that says a Comment 6 too, so if there's an issue, HR should have stopped in the middle of it and said, hey, we got to work something out. That did not happen.
Yep, agreed.
What is the employee being paid at right now?
A 5. So we're not talking a ton of money.
It's because the job previously was a 5.
Correct.
Right, that's why.
To a different job.
So that increased.
The employee went to a different job. She was a 5 before that. Now she's going to a 6. So.
We're looking into it.
Yep.
Okay.
I got a question. It doesn't pertain to that, but May 10th was the end of the property tax collection, correct? Which was a Saturday.
It's actually May 12th.
Right, so it would extend to 12th to May 12th. I believe it was May 8th I was up there paying my taxes. As a matter of fact, you waited on me on my property taxes. And that afternoon, well, it was at noon, I understand from a gentleman that contacted me that he and others were told to stand by and wait in the lobby while your staff and yourself had a pizza party.
No, that's not true.
That's not true. He's a liar?
He's misunderstood, because we did not have a pizza party during collection time.
Okay, I'll check with him, but
Okay, go ahead.
he told me that that's what happened, and that I wondered if this is the case. Why,
No.
if we had somebody penalized that couldn't pay their taxes after the 10th or the 11th or 12th, whatever the date would be, why they'd have a legitimate gripe that they weren't able.
And I would agree with you if they were penalized for it, but our office staff, we always stayed late to make sure anyone that was in line got taken care of. In fact, our line was actually, from what I understand, a lot of the taxpayers commented that their line was a lot quicker this year, so a lot of them are very happy. We did have a last day of line, but it didn't ever extend out of the building or nothing like I heard before. So overall, it went pretty well for our first try. We had our 3 windows running. Our credit card vendor is not very good because our credit card system kept going down, so we had to manually input cards all the time. But that's something that we'll work on. But that also slows you down when you have to manually input the cards. So.
Well, I'll call that gentleman tomorrow and see if.
Yeah, and have him call me because
I'll call you and let you know.
No, because that was definitely, no one ever had to wait in line.
Well, he said that it was shut down for a pizza party.
No.
Okay.
Office never shuts down.
No, it shouldn't. Not during tax time, especially.
Well, for sure. All right. Any other questions?
I have none. Anyone's? Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other department heads? Moving on to liaison reports. Mr. Mullenhour.
Yes, I got a couple things. May 7th, I attended Emergency Management Advisory Board meeting. May 9th, I attended the LaPorte County Law Enforcement Memorial Ceremony at Michigan City at the FOP. And as usual, it was a very, very nice ceremony put on by, attended and put on by all the law enforcement agencies in LaPorte County. And one other thing, it saddens me to report that the sudden passing of a well-known retired sheriff's deputy, Clayton Jordan, who passed away very recently. And he was 32 years as a merit officer, and then when he retired from that, he was served as a legal process server for another 18 years. And my prayers, or our prayers, go out to his family and friends. He's truly going to be missed. He was known as a couple nicknames, CJ, everybody called him CJ, Clayton Jordan, and the other thing was he was a very tall man, if you happen to had the opportunity to meet him, and he called him High Pockets, so. But he'll be missed. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Keel.
Aside from talking with my liaison assignments this month with no major updates, I also attended the State Board of Accounts exit conference for the county and had the opportunity to speak at a Brookings Institute panel in Washington, D.C. two weeks ago about matters related to government in the Chicago region. So that was an interesting experience. And I think that covers my report for this month.
All right, thank you. Mr. Novak.
Attended the FMEC 911 Advisory Board and spoke with the 911 board. RDC last month, and we just had one prior to this meeting tonight. Insurance meeting and the building maintenance meeting. And we also, I was invited, and a few other people on the council were invited to a private meeting with Governor Braun regarding House Bill 1 and all how it's working and everything. It was a 45-minute, very tight meeting, and I'm just going to give a quick synopsis. He said the issue was because of Fishers and Carmel, because their tax rates have gone so high and they got so much development and everything down there that they needed to fix the taxes and do things. And he led, and Jimmy was there, and I think Mike Rosenbaum was there, so correct me if I'm wrong. He indicated that he's capping our growth at 4%, which that's not, we could live with 4%. So when I asked him, well, but we're projected to lose $2 million next year, $2 million a year after that, and $2 million after that, and then after that, I heard it's just going to get worse. And he looks at me and he says, where'd you get those numbers? And I go, from the legislators. He goes, that's the first time I've heard that. So it was not didn't get a lot of, so the legislators and the governor's office maybe there's a little disconnect. So that's why I think it's imperative that we engage Baker Tilly to find out exactly what's going on, because what we're hearing from the legislators is completely different from the governor's office, so.
It'd be kind of nice if the legislators would come to one of our meetings and present on this topic, just given how pertinent this is to what we do.
I'm sure if we ask them, they probably would.
Yeah, I did ask for the previous month, but I did not follow up for this month, so I'll make sure that happens for the next meeting.
That concludes.
All right. Mr. Pressel.
So Personnel Committee, as we said, we asked departments to create some flowcharts for us so that we can see what jobs are actually doing inside those departments now to help us get a better idea of what's needed and where we can kind of help departments reorganize and kind of work through some stuff. FMEC, like Randy said, we met regularly, tons of projects going out there for getting ready for the fair. Maintenance Committee, we've got a software demonstration coming up so we can see what all our software is actually capable of doing right now, if it can get incorporated into building maintenance and updates and keep us better on track. And then Plan Commission, so we'll have a public hearing at our next meeting to go over new adoptions to our solar ordinance. That's all I've got, Mr. President.
Thank you. Mr. Yagowski.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yeah, same conversation, the maintenance meeting. We did a pretty good job of getting some new employees for the janitorial part. But as far as the maintenance, everybody that applied had really no knowledge of simple, even drywall repair or painting or anything. So we really have had a problem with getting some qualified people in that. So with that, I'm just asking a lot of departments to try to understand where we're at, because we've lost so many people that we need to get ourselves back on track. That hasn't happened yet, of course, unfortunately, but some people are, everybody wants their offices painted or done at a particular time, and we're just not going to be able to do it at this time coming up here. We have made some really good progress again with the software. I think that we found all our laptops or work tablets or whatever you want to call them. Basically, it's a work tablet, so that they can enter all their information from Michigan City or LaPorte or wherever they happen to be at. So we're really making some really good progress. But we've knocked out a lot. Commissioner Gramosa has come to the meeting with about 4 or 5 items, and we've knocked out at least half of those items.
Pretty much meeting on a weekly basis.
Yes. So okay. I think I appreciate your guidance on forming the committee. I think the committee has made some steps in the right direction, but we have a long way to go yet. Thank you, Mr. President.
You're welcome. Mr. Kessler.
Thank you. We've had a couple animal shelter meetings. Things are going in the right direction out there. The vet clinic's getting ready to open back up, which will save the shelter a lot of money by doing the spays and neuterings in-house. Still, it's a challenge out there with the overcrowding, but Rachel and her team are doing a great job of working through that. Did attend the county highways demonstration on the back truck, and had some finance committee meetings. So, thank you.
Thank you. And lastly, like Randy mentioned, we had 2 RDC meetings since the last meeting. Also had a good discussion with Director Beatty regarding the how the GPS devices and services are funded. If anybody recalls, we had about a little over $250,000 additional appropriation in order to cover operational costs and leases well above the $70,000 budget line item that was provided, and that has to do with collections from the participants. And as a result of that additional appropriation last month, I agreed to communicate with all the judges to see what we can do within reasonable actions to be able to assure that we are collecting what we are owed. So I needed the funding understanding and how the sentences are passed down and how those bills are coming across, and now I have a meeting scheduled with all the judges, hopefully at the end of next week, in order to figure out, okay, what's the game plan going forward? What is it that we can do that we're not doing now? So hopefully we can close that gap for those appropriations. And that concludes my report. Mr. Auditor, if we could talk about correspondence, please.
Yes, we have one specific item. It is a letter from Earl L. Harris, State Representative, House District Number 2, There was a House Bill 1292 that created the Northwest Indiana Professional Sports Development Commission. I'm just highlighting it real quick. They're asking us to select, we get to select from the council someone to serve on this board, and they have some requests of what that person can do and their background. So everybody received this letter when we got it in. We turned around and we sent it out to everybody. It was in your packet on top of that. So it's not something to rush into. There is no deadline yet, but I think if you try and put some names together and talk about it and have it ready for your next meeting, I think you'd be in good timing.
Let's go ahead and have that added to the agenda for next meeting.
That's the end of the direct correspondence to the council.
All right, thank you. On to new business. LaPorte County Building Maintenance. Angie Davis, interim director, permission to hire a maintenance position. This has been one that was previously approved to begin the search. We also have LaPorte County Health Department permission to hire a project manager for a countywide Heart Safe initiative. And we have LaPorte County Soil and Water permission to hire education coordinator for LaPorte County Soil and Water District. All of these have been permission to be in the search. And I'd be entertaining a motion.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve from Mr. Novak.
Second.
Second from Mr. Yagowski.
On the comment.
Okay, all right, you can start with Mr. Novak.
Was there some, did
You were first, he was second.
Just for clarification, the maintenance, this went through the maintenance committee, and the maintenance one, and the health department one, that is funded by Healthcare Foundation. So, and it's with the clear understanding that when the grant's gone, the person's gone. So it's a specific job for the Heart Safe Community program that they're doing. So those are the two that I'm speaking on. So,
Ms. Davis, the position, the maintenance position is an open position from the current salary grid, right? This is not a new. And the education coordinator is the same from Soil and Water, which is a vacation from a vacant position. So, Mr. Keel, you had some comments.
Yeah, so two of these positions are filling existing positions.
Correct.
The one for the health department, this is a new position. Just checking, does the Healthcare Foundation's funding cover the insurance costs, the whole thing?
Everything.
Okay, all costs.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Any other discussion? Mr. Yagowski.
Yeah, sorry. This hasn't, just FYI, we have also two positions we mentioned to you that would come out of the budget. We're going to have to, of course, fund it later. That's two interns to try to get this program going for the maintenance department for the new programming.
Okay.
So that when they have those work tablets, that they're able to put this in, it starts collecting all the data. So we're able to, and then if anybody on the council has questions, we're going to be able to retrieve that information for you.
Okay.
those would be part-time, right?
They're both part-time, because they're only going to be for the summer months, so.
Okay.
Just so FYI.
Perfect. And I believe you have a part-time budget right now, correct? Okay. Thank you. All right. All in favor of filling the positions? Motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. All right, now we have the LaPorte County HR Director for Health Department, recommendation of a licensed practical nurse position, project specialist position, fully funded by HFL, classification of vital registrar from Comment 3 to Comment 4.
It's the same one.
Is this the same position?
The project specialist, yes, I put it through the job committee for it to be rated and approved.
Okay, so we've approved the permission to hire. Now we are approving the position and the salary rating.
Motion to approve.
Horse cart.
Motion. Yeah, it seems like it. Who's the cart? Who's the horse? So motion approved by Mr. Novak.
Second.
Second by Mr. Pressel. Any discussion? With that, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
The item that was struck from the agenda, was that reviewed by the Job Evaluation Committee, or was that just separate from that?
That seems separate, and we need to get some clarification there.
All right, thank you.
With that, Councilman Novak, discussion on new employee health insurance contributions.
So, at the end of last month's meeting, I brought up about in an attempt to save money down the road long-term, my proposal was that any new employee hired after a certain date, we can decide the date immediately, whatever it is, but any employees hired after this day forward, it's an 80-20 split on the health insurance versus 85-15. So, and with these numbers, just so people have a ballpark of how much money, first of all, our health insurance is very expensive, and this does not affect any current employees. So I just want to say that. But if we were to take the current pool of 590 employees right now and change it to an 80-20 split and an average of average of the plans, it would save approximately $789,000 a year in insurance claims. And the average employee might stay 20 years. That would be $15 million over that time period. So this is a substantial amount of money that at some point, I feel, the county needs to change direction and tighten up a little bit on that, and that could free up money that we could give the employees, maybe raises and other things, and we can make up the benefits in other places. But at some point, we got to change the direction we're going. So if you go out in the private sector, 80-20 is a standard split on insurance. So, and we talk at budget hearings every year about how do we change from 85 to 15 to tighten that up to get it back down to an 80-20 split. It's very hard to do for our current employees because we're not able to give raises every year, and nobody wants to do that. So I'm not in favor of doing it to our current employees, but in future employees, I think it's an easy fix. It's something that down the road the county's going to benefit from, and we got to change direction at some point. So that's my motion.
So motion for Mr. Novak to raise insurance contribution from new prospective employees from 15% contribution to 20% contribution.
Anybody hired after, I don't care what day, whatever dates you want to put. Tomorrow, we can, or July 1st. July 1st, right.
Yeah.
If you want a cutoff date of July 1st, that way it's halfway through the year or whatever for you guys, whatever.
For the sake, understanding how slow the hiring process can go, I would recommend if you're going to make the motion, make it for July 1st, so that it's a nice clean cutoff for Ms. Thomas and her team. All right.
Second, Mr. President.
A second from Mr. Yagowski. Any discussion?
Yes, sir.
You just go ahead.
I'm glad that this discussion's come up every year for the last 20 years. Started back the days with Mr. Kenny Layton was working with us on this, and it was highly recommended by a lot of people that we should have been 80-20 across the board anyway. Now, there's times when we didn't have the raises, so then that was a year that nobody wanted to do it. But then that one year, we gave almost a 28% raise that year that we did it a few years back, and we still didn't address it. I don't disagree with any of your conversation, but I'm still agreeing that we should be gearing ourselves towards 80-20 anyways, because just for the simple fact that we're going to run out of money. And it's been brought up before. So this is my plea. I've said it this year. I've said it for the last 20 years, but we need to get ourselves collectively to an 80-20 anyway. But it's always hard, and we'll hear it before, but we won't do it when there's raises years, and we won't do it when there's not raises years. So I don't, it's something that we have to work towards.
Well, this at some point when you're still on the council 20 years from now, you can say everybody's over. Right.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Mr. Keel.
Yeah, I still have concerns about this in that who is being impacted by this. This is not really a pro-worker policy. It's going to disproportionately harm employees who make lower incomes, employees with families who have the more expensive plans, and younger employees who are the ones most likely to get hired into open positions. Whereas it doesn't impact employees that are already here, which I can see the appeal of not impacting existing employees. In the short term, this isn't going to do a whole lot for us financially. And there's still a lot of other really big questions about our health insurance, how it's set up. Earlier this week, I sent an email with a bunch of different starting point questions of how we might go about trying to find out the scope of how we could go about fixing this issue with our health insurance. I'm willing to entertain this, but I think that we should not kid ourselves into thinking this is going to solve anything in the short term.
This is, as I mentioned in the email that I responded to you, this is not a short-term fix. This is a long-term fix. And if you're free to come up with an idea, a solution, and make a motion to change the entire county over to, if you want to do that right now, you're free to do that. So this is just my little piece of this, and it's a piece to get it started in the right direction. If anybody up here, if you've got an idea, throw an idea out there. This is my idea, and we can vote it up, we can vote it down, but instead of finding a problem with everything, let's find solutions and work to find a solution. This is a piece of the solution. That's all it is.
Absolutely agree. And I think it's important when we make decisions that are going to impact workers that we understand the full consequences of those and look for maybe there was a better alternative we could have pursued by changing the way that the policy is structured where it impacted employees less and accomplished the same cost savings for us in the long term. That might have been an option, but we won't know unless we researched it. I'd ask if you'd be willing to make an amendment to your motion to include asking staff to research these questions and get back to us with the answers to them.
I know the answers to most of the questions that you asked. So in the insurance committee, so first of all, the insurance committee is going out for bids on insurance. So they're going out soliciting. General insurance is looking at another carrier, and there's somebody looking at something else, other types of insurance to see if there's somebody else out there. 590 employees currently on the plan. That's employees. I don't know the rest of your questions. That's not, a lot of these things are the commissioner's authority over the insurance and the policy that they pick.
But we have council members on the insurance committee.
Correct. I agree. Those questions didn't all come up. Those questions just came up in the last 2 days. So
yeah,
and she wasn't here Monday. So
my understanding is this email was forwarded to the commissioners. Mr. Hollifield, you've already received it.
I saw it.
So I mean, perhaps they can answer them.
I don't think so. I've talked to Steve about this. I talked to Connie about this. I don't see how this is going to be impacted by that. So we have to change this, as Mr. Yagowski stated, for 20 years. It's been something that it's always comes up at budget hearings. And if you talk, when we had the insurance crisis last year, one of the things that came out of it was we got to get a handle on the cost of our insurance. This is one way to do that. The other ways are, like I said, this is one little piece of it. We got to make sure we're getting the best insurance and the best carrier and the best prices, and that's something that the insurance committee's looking at. The other thing is North Shore. Are we getting the best bang for our buck there, or is there another vendor out there that will do it? North Shore right now closed Michigan City, and when we're in a meeting and General Insurance, I think they either saw it on Facebook or they got you were in that. Yeah. But they heard it from somebody else. So North Shore didn't even notify General Insurance. They closed the Michigan City one. We've had employees sit in LaPorte for over 2 hours after they left from work to go to the doctor because they had to get a nurse practitioner to come in because all of a sudden there's a patient there. So it's not the best bang for our buck. So we need to look at, maybe there's an alternative. Franciscan offers an alternative, and that's the one that I think the commissioners might be taking up or looking at. And it's cheaper. It saves us money and gives us better service.
I think everything you just said furthered the point of why we would want answers to the questions that I'm asking here.
That's one. My thing is one piece of the whole thing. The other things this isn't going to solve all the problems. What I'm proposing, that's one little piece of it. The whole thing needs to continue on.
Great, then let's take them separately. If what you're proposing won't solve all the problems, then let's separate this into another motion then afterwards that addresses all of the other problems that we still admit that we need to solve about
You're free to make any motion you want.
We have an insurance committee. It meets in secret. It doesn't create
It does not meet in secret.
Well, then where are the times being advertised? Are they being posted somewhere? If it doesn't meet in secret, then it's sure not being shared.
So let's find a solution to the problem instead of the problem to the solution. Let's find that. Let's
So my
find
point
that.
with this-
It's not, I don't call the meetings, so it's not.
My point with this is that it's not possible for other council members to know what's going on with the insurance because it's not shared with us. There's meetings, there's no details that get back out except for what's being shared here tonight or in other similar meetings. It makes it very difficult to find out what's going on. If we want to get to a solution, we're all going to need to be involved in it, and we're going to need to have a structured approach.
I agree. And I think we're going to have a joint workshop with the commissioners at some point to address all these things, because a lot of these things are commissioner things that can fix, not just the council. This is an item the council can fix.
All right, so before it goes too far, Mr. Bijou, if I may ask, research what it would take to understand the statute regarding subcommittees that are not a quorum of either the Board of Commissioners or the council, in terms of what are the requirements for records, for announcements, so on and so forth.
And this will be relevant. Who appoints the members of that committee?
I got appointed by the
Yeah, it was
president
appointed
of
by
the
the president of the council.
So the president of the council appoints it. That'll be relevant. Do they take any official action? Have you made any decisions that were binding in any way?
This is why I'm asking for the attorney to make a
Is this a
judgment based off of this.
cross-examination? What is it?
I'm asking questions that will be relevant when he looks at it later.
That's fair.
Mr. President.
All right.
No, it's not a binding it's not binding.
Do you
None of
receive
it.
any information during these meetings?
Mr. President.
Yes.
It would.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
It's the whole purpose of the meeting.
Mr. Yagowski.
Exactly.
I want to just make sure that, I don't know, I'm kind of surprised that some
All
of the
have
council
to come in
members
for approval
are
through the
not,
other agencies.
excuse me, Mr. Novak. I'm kind of surprised that some of the council members are not aware that, again, in the last 20 years, these decisions were made by commissioners. I don't know, their committee does not really make decisions. The council listens to it, but we have no voting power in this, so I don't know where this story comes from. This North Shore was not done by the council, it was done by the commissioner. Commissioners did that, not the council. So I don't know why all of a sudden we're surprised that what authority do we have? We have no authority. There has been no authority over the years. I'm kind of shocked that some of you guys don't know that, because we've talked about it numerous times, including this done you just talked about. It's done by the commissioners. It's been done by the commissioners. They've changed it over the years. So I'm shocked that somebody doesn't know that.
This goes back to the complexity of the insurance. So the statute says that the county fiscal body shall fix the compensation of officers and employees as well. The compensation includes the insurance, which is why before there's been this kind of joint power sharing as it relates to insurance. The commissioners are involved in the contracting of it, but we're pretty much setting how much is being paid and all of the fiscal components of it. So we can't just take the council out of it and assume that all of this is going to fall on the commissioners. It just won't work.
I'm not taking any of the council out. The council's been out of it for as long as it's been.
And we shouldn't be out of it. We're heavily intertwined.
But you're acting like you just found this out. We've been explaining this for as long as you've been on it, Justin, about the same. I talked to you about it when you first came on. This has been a problem a long time ago, up to and including this last, what I kind of fiasco, this North Shore. We didn't have the money to pay for it at the time.
Same thing.
It was free.
Same thing with the vacation.
Monopoly money.
With holidays. Holidays.
thing.
Mark brings that up every year.
Yeah.
And it doesn't. So.
And I know we talked about this.
And what you're saying about this meeting is there minutes and this and that. We have a building meeting, a building maintenance meeting weekly. We don't generate any minutes. The council has no authority to make any changes to the building thing. We receive information. No one's going, I want to be in on your maintenance meeting.
Who appointed the members of the maintenance committee?
The president.
President?
The president.
Note. We try not to, it's not like a bunch of us get together and go, hey, let's form a committee. Don't tell Adam. I mean, all due respect.
Okay, appreciate it. All right. Is the request clear?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, so we have a motion on the floor.
One more
With a
thing.
second. Yes, Mr. Yagowski.
So the 80-20, by the way, just so you guys knew for the rest of it, was always supposed to be that way. We have slowly got to 85-15. That wasn't over 1 year. It didn't all of a sudden, 1 year we were 80-20, then it was 85-15. As we stopped funding this thing, the 85 got bigger and the 15 got smaller. it has, just so everybody's well aware of, this was not a magical number that came across that everybody agreed to. It is over the years, it became 85-15.
In lieu of, if I may, in lieu of raises, the county ate the increase in the insurance and it got out of whack.
Yes, sir.
Does that explain it?
Yes,
So
sir. I just want to make sure.
And there was a period where there were no
magical
raises.
number of 85-15. I just want to make sure I understand it.
A question for our CPA auditor. Is there a tax advantage to the county by providing compensation in the form of insurance rather than direct pay?
There is an advantage to the employee, and it is not, and this is from a tax side, because we have what they call a Section 125 plan. Whatever they do pay, they get a break off their income taxes. They pay their Social Security tax on anything that they receive, including that benefit on that. So it is more of a benefit for the employee than it is for the employer, for the government.
And one other question you had on there that your question was, does if an employee has a spouse that has insurance that's outside of the county, they are currently, the policy right now is they have to take the spouse's insurance. They cannot bring the spouse onto the county insurance. They have to take the spouse's insurance if it's offered outside. They have to do that. And if I'm not mistaken, they just did an audit last year. They went through to find out, to make sure all the employees were in the right spot. So
that is correct. I'd just like to make
things to make sure that. Yeah.
I'd like to make a comment that, well, first off, thank you for Mr. Novak to bring this up at the last meeting and again tonight, and for Mark Yagelski to second it. I know last meeting was brought up, and I really did a lot of, I guess, soul searching and thinking about it. Talked to some people, talked to some employees and that, and some elected officials, and I agree with everything the two councilmen that just reported, Mr. Yagelski and Mr. Novak. I think they covered it well. I can't add any more than what I think they just said.
And I just want to reiterate, this is a piece of trying to fix the thing, especially with not knowing our financials going forward. And you know, we've got a commissioner that goes out and makes public comments on the radio that the county's been operating in the red for years, which is an absolute false statement. I'm not looking at you.
Let's keep it.
Which is an absolute false statement. But here's what I'm saying. The county, I mean, with the projection for the state, we got to do something. And we know the insurance is out of hand. This all last year and this year. So we got to make some changes. And I don't see how we can go wrong on this one. So.
All right. So I have a motion and a second on the floor. We've extended the discussion. All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. So moved. Old business. We don't have any old business. Appropriations.
How about Adam Karankas?
Oh, yeah. Very good. Yes. I forget myself.
Skip one there.
Yes. Mr. Beege. You can let me know where I steer this awry, but after our meeting last week, where things got a little sideways regarding emergency repairs and how we go for bids, I asked for a judgment or an opinion on Indiana code because there was two sections that seemed to point in opposite directions. You provided a letter, provided it to all the councilmen, minus Mr. Kessler. I passed it on to him.
Oh, I'm sorry. It was not unintentional.
We understand.
With that, are there any questions, concerns, comments regarding Attorney Beege's letter? His opinion.
Pretty straight clear.
I still disagree with the position on it. No offense to Doug.
Well, after you go to law school, let's talk, okay?
Yeah, I still feel like we're avoiding the problem here, which is that we have an overarching issue with competitively procuring many of the projects in this county. Frankly, I think that probably a vendor that didn't have an opportunity to bid on this project or others may have a claim against the county, and well, it's documented now.
So just as another point, I had a resident of the county who's involved with a large project management, building contractor, reach out to me directly with some concerns. Nothing toward one project or another, but just to the point of we could be better stewards with how we're managing projects. My intent is to follow up and get more of his perception of where it is that there's issues, but the fact that I'm getting direct phone calls says that just to look inward and say, are we doing things properly? No, but I appreciate your opinion, and I think that it's merited. It's not opposite of what this individual is looking at, just more along the lines of the overall government management of projects and funds.
Well, and I want to reiterate, this is an emergency. It had to do with health and safety and further damage to the building. So I don't think it falls into the regular bidding category. The new commissioners had to take action at once, and there's a code section that allows for that. Not when you look at the law and look at the Indiana code, not everyone fits neatly into what you're doing, and sometimes they overlap. And my job is to read that and interpret it.
Thank you, Mr. Novak.
So the other thing is I would recommend to you, Adam, this contract that I contacted you, have them contact the commissioners, and you, Mr. Keel, go to the commissioners. They're the ones that go out for bid. We do not, per the State Board of Accounts, we are not violating anything if we approve payment on something that they did not bid properly. There is no legal obligation on us to hold them accountable for what they have their separation of powers. They do their thing, we do our thing. That was asked specifically of the State Board of Accounts. So they need to go there. If they need to fix their thing, and I'm not saying they don't, but that is there. That is not here at the council. We spend an awful lot of time here debating things that the way they came from there.
I'm actually glad you brought up the separation of powers, because the whole point of separation of powers in government is that one body checks another body. And so if we believe that the commissioners were improperly bidding it, it's our duty. It's incumbent upon us.
Not per the State Board of Accounts.
Interestingly, our council president signed that emergency order, and we then ratified it afterwards in a 6-1 vote.
Correct.
So clearly we have some role in it. We did it. And we provide the funding for it.
And based on the opinion of 2 attorneys, they said we were in the right.
2 attorneys who will also tell you that their primary job is to keep us out of lawsuits. It doesn't necessarily mean that their job is to prevent us from getting into future lawsuits, because that would also mean admitting that we did something wrong in the past.
You can't.
So now we're kind of in a quandary.
We're finding problems to solutions.
I want to underscore that Marquis and LaPorte County Project Management, who are the beneficiaries of a lot of these unbid projects, have received many millions of dollars from this county. The latest claim data that I had was in excess of $11 million from Marquis since 2020. And for LaPorte County Project Management, possibly $17 million in claims. These are unverified numbers presently, but that's what I'm looking at. So if someone's willing, I'm happy to hear from someone about how much of that's been bid.
Have you gone to the commissioners meeting and addressed this there? That's the commissioners. Now, I keep pointing at you, but you're the only one here, so
why are we so keen to just push everything off to the commissioners?
It's their job to get bids. Their job to do the process. It's not our job to solicit bids.
So we don't.
Am I correct, Mr. Beachy?
That they're doing.
You are correct.
We don't solicit bids.
Mr. President, we're not getting with this guy.
No, we are not.
So
thank you, Mr. Yagowski. With that, we will move on to appropriations, transfers, and requests. Community crossings matches, Mitch Bishop, county planner, to the tune of $1,699,407.48, requesting a permission to spend for the matching grant approved by council on 6/11 of 2024 for lit economic development. And what I believe this is reference to is a motion of support. So.
The construction is completed as of last week. So there's 32 new lane miles rethrively completed. Only thing left is the striping of the road.
Motion to approve since it's done.
All right, motion to approve. And per the agenda out of lit economic development?
Yeah.
Did I hear a second?
Second.
So I heard a motion by Mr. Novak, second from Mr. Kessler.
On the question, do we advertise this one?
Hold on. I saw the advertisements. think it was the previous month, because this was a carryover. All right. Any other discussion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Thank you.
Thank you. LaPorte County Highway Department tabled from the April meeting requesting additional appropriation of the revised amount of $537,022.46 from LRS for the purchase of a new hydro excavator truck.
Motion to take off the table.
Second.
So motion removed from the table by Mr. Novak, second by Mr. Yagelski. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hi, Charity.
Hi. So last meeting, there was some questions about the cost. Oh, go ahead.
Name, department?
Charity Glazer, Highway Department.
Thank you.
Superintendent. There was some questions about the cost of rentals and a used back truck. Rentals are around $3,500 a day, and per month it's around $15,000 to $17,000 if we were to rent one. Currently, the quotes we've been getting on used ones is anywhere from $300,000 to $400,000, and we don't know what kind of shape they're in, what we're getting. There's no warranty on these. This is a brand new one at $537,000, and it comes with a 10-year warranty on the water and debris tank, 2 years on the blower, and the rest has a 1-year warranty on the rest of the chassis. Right now, there's 2 departments in the county that need their drains cleaned. We have no vac truck. We could have this thing on Monday morning delivered to us. If we get a used one, we don't know when we can get one, what's available, what kind of shape it's going to be in. But we're hearing most people get rid of them because they're already getting worn and used. So we're asking for this new vac truck.
All right. Mr. Yagelski.
I disagreed with the commissioner's statement. I guess here's my simple solution, or simple answer to this question. Let's just get rid of all the used cars in Michigan City or wherever, Indiana, and let's everybody buy new cars, because otherwise you're going to get a used car and you might get a car that's been not well maintained or whatever. That makes no sense whatsoever. In a common world that we live in, we buy used vehicles all the time. I've had plenty. I didn't. There was no purpose in not making your meeting. I've seen thousands of these because I worked with these for 50 years out in the mill. So they do buy used ones. And so the statement that's made, I don't agree with the commissioner's statement. I don't agree with it. Look, if you guys want to vote for it, vote for it. But let's just don't come up with the idea that because it's used, it's no good. Otherwise, like I said, let's just shut down every used car lot, and we'll buy new cars, and everybody will be happy, I guess.
Well, I didn't say it's no good. We just don't know what kind of shape.
That's a bad statement to make, because if people buy cars that way all the time,
right?
I should just buy a new car then. I should not buy a used car. That doesn't make it. It's not. The statement is not a good statement, and that's why I clarified it. That's all. If the council wants to vote for it, it's up to them. I'm just telling you.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
Motion approved by Mr. Novak. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Molnar, and I assume that was a question.
It was going to be a question. It is, was there anything with reconditioned, or is that not available anywhere that you found?
Well, right now, there's nothing available right away.
Is there a company that reconditions these used ones, or no?
There are companies that sell used ones, yes.
Yeah, used, yeah, but
Yes.
not, okay.
So
We just don't have, there's not any available for what we need it for.
Okay. So in other words, if it's used, it's just as is?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
for another item, even though the timing just didn't come out right, the 2 days after the first meeting where we had this, member of the public reached out to me with a link from a auction site it was a public works or public service type auction. 2 days left on the bidding period for about half this amount. Had we had more timing and forethought, could we have done something with it? Probably, because we would need to fund it first before we go make a bid. So there are opportunities out there, but I'm assuming, being the fact that it's not a Toyota Corolla, it's a vac truck, they're a little less frequently available.
Yes.
Wait, you got one here.
Yes, Mr. Keel.
I guess I'm wondering, on the financial end of things, what is the rate at which we're adding money to local roads and streets? We're using a considerable amount of the balance that's in there. Yeah, LRS.
Yes.
I'll repeat that. We're getting about $118,000 a month on LRS.
And how much of that is spent through the budgeting process already?
That is strictly left for the needs and whatever we plan. We have $5 million that comes out of economic development that pretty much covers the highway department.
And what's the recapture rate? Because at last month's meeting, the number that was given was.
So it's around 118,000 average that we get a month in LRS money from the state.
So it'd take 5 months to.
Yeah, it'll be back within the 5 months.
Right.
And we don't
And
spend any of that other money.
the only department that uses this LRS money is the highway department. And for next year's budget, there's still money in there that will cover this with extra. So there's money in there to cover this back truck.
Other than an additional appropriation like this, what else comes out of LRS?
So we pay all of our shop supplies, our parts, sand and salt, our fuel, sign shop comes out of there. Let me see what else would come up. Lawn striping, we just increased that to 30,000 that last budget.
But roads are not going to be not paved because
Right,
we
no,
bought
we don't
this.
know, road paving is not part of this LRS money.
I just want to clarify.
Yes.
So I'm going to ask a few more clarification questions here. So we bring in, you said 118,000 per month roughly?
Yes.
So about 1.4 million per year. And of that 1.4 million that comes in, how much are we budgeting in expenditures during budget season?
So our budget for this year was $1,185,755.
But you also get an additional $5 million out of the lit.
Yes.
So
That was part of the highway, right?
Yeah.
So within LRS, we're basically keeping at the end of each year about $250,000. Does that sound right?
So this year, we started with, I'm not even sure what the opening balance was. Do y'all have that readily available?
Well, I'm looking.
Right now, the balance is to over $2 million. Well, that's what it was whenever, May 21st, when I printed this.
We got a one-pager here.
Yeah, but I have the number. We started with over $2 million at the beginning of the year.
Okay, because this report is telling me that there's 1.2 million in there. I guess I'm just asking because if we're going to spend half of the cash balance that's in that fund based off of the report that I'm working with.
What you're working with, it's deducting anything that was budgeted. Okay. So you're working with whatever the real cash balance is, less the unexpended funds. So this way, we're not going to go negative.
Okay.
So that's what you're working with is a current number. Now, are we still going to get another 118,000 for the next 7 months? Yes, but it's not included in there. So you know that you're working with real cash in front of you.
Okay, so this is if she spends every penny out of the current budget, we still have 1.2 available to be able to look at a 500,000 expenditure. Okay.
And that's why I'm asking about the replenishment rate, because I'm trying to determine, are we going to build it back up quickly, or could this burn through 5 years worth of surplus?
Well, so now since we're the only department that uses this budget, the next year or so we won't be coming and asking for additional appropriations. It's just here in the last couple of years we've gotten an additional appropriation for equipment out of this fund. So yes, it would have to build back up on top of what our budget is.
Okay.
All right. Any further discussion? With that, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
I'm sorry, can we get the names separately, please?
So that would be Justin, myself, and Mark.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
LaPorte County E911, permission to transfer $1,569.06.
Mr. President.
Second.
You want me to explain?
Motion to approve from Mr. Yagowski, second from Mr. Novak. Yes, you can.
Just shocked. I know, you're just shocked to hear motion to approve.
It's a
by
transfer.
Mr. Gill.
I know.
It's a transfer.
No, I laughed harder last month.
You did laugh.
This is just, they're just transferring $1,500 to cover that.
Yes,
So.
And it's for the Pulse Point maintenance contract. So this
Right.
has,
The contract did not go up. It's just that the Motorola bill went up, not this. So they needed $1,500 covered.
Can you just repeat who the motion was made by?
motion from Mark's, second from Randy.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. LaPorte County EMS, motion of support held over, requesting additional appropriation of $1,226,459.50 for the installment striker agreement for replacement of expired equipment. To be allocated as follows: year one, $145,000; year two, $181,250; years 3 through 6, $292, $619, and 6 cents. Mr. Beach.
Brian Beach, Assistant Director of EMS.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Doing well.
Okay, so believe you guys have been sent everything from Eric on this and the financing from Stryker. We'll find out. There was a question on the percentage. It was 7% is what they had come back with.
Interest rate?
Interest rate, sorry, yes. I do know that they had the option of you could pay in full, one-time payment. We could do a one payment now of the 145. That was the last thing that I saw was the 145 and have a total remaining balance of $1,167,309.84 to be paid at the beginning of next year. There's no penalty if we pay off early. We're gonna get hit with the interest rate off the top.
For the time period for the 1 year?
For the 1 year, and it's going to be at 7.9% is what I came up with when I did the math.
Okay. So the question is, for everybody up here, it comes down to, we have some aged equipment beyond useful life according to all of the governing specifications and what the equipment manufacturers states as their useful life. We look at it and say, do we want to pay for it all now, take the hit all at once with no interest, or do we take the hit with on interest in the event to not overexpend some of these accounts? So,
just so you guys are aware, I know that it was motion of support last month, so we could get the order placed. They can't input into their system until they have a way of finance. So we have not ordered yet.
Okay, fair enough. Mr. Auditor, do you have any advice?
I just wanted to share the following comment. Microphone. I just wanted to share the following comment, that since we spent already $1.7 million in the very first one, there is only $876,000 that sits in that account today. In a few weeks, we will get another $636,000, but we don't have that. It's not in the few weeks. We're talking about what we have available now. So to pay for it full right now, it would be unwise, unless you wanted to hold it over one more month and then see where we are with cash balances. But I know that the money's coming in, but it's also, some of it may be spent on other things. Right now, you've got a net number of taking out what the rest of the year's expenses are encumbered, or I'm trying to say the right word, the unexpended balances. I have reduced it so that we don't go negative. And so that's why we only have $876,000. I did not add in the other $636,000 that we're going to receive every month. So the money may be there in a month from now. I would highly recommend that you do the $145,000 now, take the lowest amount that we need to lay out, then work on getting this account or whatever account where we want to get it from, building up those balances and looking to do a payout next year.
I'll make a motion that we go with the $145,000 tonight, and with the option to pay it all off at the beginning of next year, subject to the attorney reviewing the contract to make sure everything is.
You didn't want to go the long term where you could then pay it off at any time?
We can do, yeah, that's what I'm.
Okay,
yeah.
I just wanted to make sure.
I said with the option that we can pay it off first of next year.
Thank you.
Right, which there's no prepayment penalty.
No prepayment penalty.
And we only pay the interest on the time that we're using the money, so to speak. It's not, they don't front load the interest and you're paying it all.
Yeah, and we have no other mechanism right now currently.
That's what I want to make sure that the attorney checks.
If we did the 6 payments that was originally discussed possible, they front load the interest.
This is like a mortgage payment.
Mr. President,
but at the 1 year?
No, it's not. It's a rule. You're talking about the Rule 78. Rule 78, so if I don't know what that is, that's the upfront stack interest. That's not like a mortgage. That's a progressive number. It goes the other way around. But that's not the number. you waited this long already. Let them know that, I'm just suggesting you because I'm voting anyway, but let them tell you in 8 weeks, we're going to pay whatever we have the money. And we'll pay it. I'm sure they'll be okay with it. We'll pay it.
I do believe that we don't make a payment until we take delivery.
Yeah, so
it's
the whole
deferred.
payment, to me, makes more sense, not the partial. If that's the case, then, and I'm just, in my opinion. But this is a rule of 7-day deal, and I'm telling you, you're going to be uploaded this interest up front.
Okay.
And at 8%, by the way, not 7%, 8%.
Why are you saying 8?
7.9 is
7.9.
You said 7. No. All I heard was 7. So for my defense, I just heard 7.
Mr. President, may I add something
Yes.
else? There's a possibility of taking the money out of the rainy day fund. We just would have to advertise it.
We don't have to do that. He hasn't.
I know, but we're going to have to take the money from somewhere before we advertise it. So
No, he said we don't pay until the equipment's here. No, I know, but I understand what you're saying.
we have early lead time. So
Exactly.
is there a date when, if you ordered it today?
Today we'll have it within 60 to 90 days.
Okay. Now, that's information I have when I made my advice to you before. I would agree to try and pay it all at once at the best price possible.
So I have a motion on the floor right now. It doesn't have
withdraw
a
my-
second.
I don't have a
Lot
second,
of
yeah.
second.
Withdraw it.
So you're going to withdraw your motion. Okay, Mr. Keel, you had something?
Yeah, I still had questions about what our other options were for financing this. About 3 weeks ago, I wrote the auditor's office with some questions about whether or not we could get a loan from a bank, and then also had asked questions about using rainy day. Separately from that email, I believe there's also a provision that allows us to loan money between funds within one fiscal year, which perhaps is a means of getting money where we need it in order to be able to pay it right when it's due. Does the auditor's office have an answer to some of those questions?
No, I don't recall answering it. I do remember, and it was not that long ago. I do remember, the only thing I remember in that right now off the top of my head is the rainy day fund you're suggesting, but we had looked that up as well. As far as other financing go, I don't know the answer if we can borrow from one fund to another within a year. I would have to look up. I did not look that up. I don't remember that even being in the email at this moment.
That one wasn't
Could have been
in it.
there.
Yeah.
Not arguing. Just saying I don't remember it. Otherwise, I would have taken a look for it.
Mr. President, Mr. Keel. So when we actually had to get legal advice from state of Indiana, you're absolutely right in your comment. You can borrow the funds within the year, but it has to be balanced off before the end of the year. So I'm answering your question because we actually had to do that when we had no tax dollars coming in. So the advice was given by the state of Indiana to do what just you got done saying.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, if we had to fund it today, we'd be kind of like doing that, knowing that this money was coming in 2-3 weeks anyway. So if that's the case, then that could be done. Then that's not a problem when the time comes. But in the meantime, we want to make sure that the appropriations are right. Now, going to a bank right now, there's no credit rating. So I'm not sure. We were lucky to get 7.9% if that's what they're using. Because right now, arguably with somebody without a credit rating and we're just getting the 23 financials, for everybody should know, they should be released anytime within the next few weeks. And it's up to the State Board of Accounts when they're coming back in the summer or fall. I cannot control their audit schedule.
Understood. Okay. So, a lot of discussion. I'll entertain another motion. Let me ask for this. Do we hold it for a month and re-advertise?
Your mic's down on.
Wow. Okay. Do we hold it for a month and re-advertise for multiple accounts? And look at the opportunity of paying all up front?
Motion to table.
Before there's a second on that motion to table,
Okay.
while I still can discuss, they cannot place the order until they have something. So of a financing method. So,
Motion to table.
I mean, if we're going to pay the whole thing, make a motion, pay the whole thing effective, but put in there that we're not going to pay it until.
I mean, even on the initial
July?
paperwork, it says first payment due is net 30 following installation, which would be our delivery.
And it's 60 to 90 days.
60 to 90 days.
Somebody make a motion to pay the whole thing July 1st.
Nobody was doing that, that's why I made the motion to table. So, Mr. President, I'll withdraw my motion.
Thank you, Mr. Yagowski. Is there anything that prevents us from being able to cut a purchase order with a motion and an approval, I guess, from the board to basically put us in the red if we were to be right now? Right? Because it's not technically in the red until we've actually been issued the invoice and pay the invoice, right?
Yeah, we don't have a bill yet, so.
We can make it effective July 1st. We know the money will be in there by then.
Okay. Any concerns, Mr. Auditor?
No.
From an audit practice?
No, we've done this before in other things, so, while I was on the council, so quite comfortable.
All right, so I'll entertain a motion. Who's got it?
I'll make the motion to approve the striker units.
As, what kind of payment?
One-time lump sum. July 1st.
So I have a motion from Mr. Kessler for a one-time lump sum payment after July 1st.
Is the fund specified, or is that to be determined?
Is that public safety lit? Is that
right now, the only place you have it is public safety.
And that's where it was advertised.
And if you wanted to change it at the next meeting, you can
second it. I'm not scared.
Pull it back and put something else in place.
Okay. But just for clarification, we did advertise it for the April meeting out of lit. Okay. So I have a motion from Mr. Kessler, a second by Mr. Novak. Any last minute discussion? With that, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Good? 6-1?
Thank you. We'll go and we'll place the order and we'll just let them know after July 1st for payment. Thank you.
Thank you.
July 1st, August 1st, September 1st, somewhere in there.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Port County Sheriff looking for an additional appropriation of $125,000 for jail overtime out of lit public safety. Mr. Sheriff.
Good evening, Councilman. Ron Heeg, Sheriff of LaPorte County. I had sent you guys some information regarding our need for overtime for the jail. As you most are aware, this is a normal yearly request for us about this time of year, and this year being no different. There's a couple of reasons for the extra overtime, and that's just the hospitalizations of inmates. Depending on which hospital we take an inmate to, they require at least one, sometimes two deputies to be there at any given time. So far, we've incurred over 600 hours of overtime just in hospitalizations. That isn't including any of the other needs that we may see for overtime. Another cause for overtime is when we have to transport inmates to and from medical appointments. We currently have an individual that we have to transport to South Bend 3 days a week for dialysis. Part of the reason we have to go to South Bend, or maybe we have to go into Lake County, is because there may not be a doctor's office that will accept an inmate as a patient here locally. So we've got to venture out further to transport these inmates to find a doctor that will take these inmates. So we're asking for an additional appropriation of $125,000. Barring any unforeseen circumstances, we expect that will get us to the end of the year based on our current pace that we're traveling. If there's any questions, I'd be glad to entertain those.
Not for this particular motion, but I do have a particular question. Has anybody reached out to some of the contract medical services that deal with corrections and whatnot, if they have some specialized care like this for dialysis and whatnot for in-jail services?
We have not, but we obviously can check with our jail medical provider, but it's going to come at an increase of cost to the county per year. You know, it's part of our professional services line item, and if we ask about that, they're going to say, yeah, we can do it. It's going to cost you, though.
Yeah, it just comes down to the dollars and cents of comparing what it would be for the overtime that's needed to cover the transport for regular services, depending on who the clientele, the residents of the Port County Jail are. And what their needs are. Okay. Any questions?
In the past, help refresh my memory because you'll remember better than I will. How many years in a row have we been appropriating additional money for overtime?
I know every year that I've been sheriff, I've asked for additional monies for overtime for the jail, and I believe when I was chief deputy under Sheriff Boyd, we probably have come back every year as well too for the request. I think Sheriff Mollenauer can probably say that he's come back and asked for additional overtime monies for the jail as well too.
But I never did. No, I'm just kidding.
I'll call you out on that one.
I was waiting for a liar at some
Numbers are
point.
better now than they were 4 years ago.
Absolutely. We've taken some steps within our jail to help reduce overtime. We're looking at some different scheduling options as well, too, to help limit some of this overtime that we see.
If we're routinely going over what we're budgeting, I'd ask that when we get to budget season, ask for an amount that you think will fully cover it. So that way we have a
Yeah,
realistic budget.
over the last, I'm going to say 2 years, the budget hearings that I've been involved as sheriff, we've asked for some increases that this council has provided. We just didn't want to come and ask for the entire amount the first year. We want to help phase this in and work with this part of the solution, not part of the problem.
Man, somebody's paying attention.
So the one thing I'd ask when it comes more to budget season is, don't hold back.
Right.
Let us know what the whole
I'm
dirty
coming.
picture is going to be.
I'm coming.
All right. Because realistically, I think with the changes that are coming from the state, state on down.
It's a concern
It's
with
a
the
concern
changes
with-
coming from the state. I know I've spoke to several of you. I'm concerned with this, probably more than anyone.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right.
May I ask a question?
You may ask a question.
I was going to ask, we have the money in lit, considering we just spent $1 million of it? It's a yes?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
On here, I'm just trying to find it real quick on the number. We have sitting there just under $900,000 right now that's available. And then every month we get $707,000, but we use only about $485,000 on a regular month. So there's a little $220,000, which was built in there for this. The other things that he's going to come back for, and I'll tell you now, he's going to come back for overtime one more time. He's going to come back for fuel.
He just
going to
said
come
he's
back
not
for food.
coming back for overtime again.
For the jail, not for the mayor division. We may have to come back.
Sneaky.
All right.
So
we hold you to your
it's kind of built in there right now with the amount of money that's available.
Motion approved out of lit.
Motion by Mr. Novak.
I'll second it. I'm remembering back to budget season. I feel like we were a lot closer on the public safety lit. I'm just shocked that we have this much money in there.
If I may,
Sure.
we are currently collecting $8.4 million. Okay, we had budgeted $7.2 million. We started using some of it already for excess things, as you've noticed in a few. If we go back, so we have, but we also started the year with over $1 million. So there's a little bit more comfort level in knowing that the funds are available for these things. And also, we will take, it's my goal, and we spoke about this, the Finance Committee, to take a look at what were the additional appropriations from last year so that we would have that number better at hand. We just went through settlement, and I tell you, we were the 4th or 5th county in the state, and we released the funds today and tomorrow. And so every local unit, school board, and everything, and any corrections that had to be made from prior periods have been done. And so, we were a little occupied the past couple of weeks. So, anyway.
So a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Moving on to another sheriff's item. Permission to spend not to exceed $445,000 from asset forfeiture for technology and equipment. What kind of cool stuff are you going to buy?
A little bit of everything. As well, with my email, I sent you a bunch of information of what we're looking to do. As I explained in my email, our asset forfeiture fund is basically the fruits of our labor and the benefactors of us being a federally designated HIDA county, which we became designated in 2017. Monies generated into this fund is from drug seizures. When the drug task force or our officers are making drug arrests and there's large amounts of cash that are associated with these arrests, we are able to seize that money through the federal system, which allows us to get a bigger percentage. So over the years, this fund has been kind of growing, and we've got some money now that we would like to just just begin to invest back into the sheriff's office, invest back into the county by spending some of this money. All these purchases that we are looking as perfect expenditures under the asset forfeiture program through the federal government. We've been sitting on some of this since about 2017, and if we don't start spending it soon, the government's going to come and tell us and order us to spend it. So we would rather spend it on some of the needs that we think we need for this money versus what the government's going to come in and tell us what we can spend it on. If you recall, I believe it was the end of last year, the first of this year, we had come to you and asked for money out of the asset forfeiture because we put new ovens into the jail that weren't working. Some of the things that we are looking to spend with some of this permission to spend is new dry suits and new ice suits for our scuba team. Some of these suits we got brand new when I was on the dive team and scuba team probably 25 years ago. They are starting to have leaks in them as well too. One of the big things we are looking to purchase for the jail is a new body scanner. If you recall, we came and got a new body scanner for the jail that scans every inmate, every person that comes into our facility. And it's been a lifesaver. I'm just going to perfectly say that body scanner has been a lifesaver for the county and a liability saver because we've been able to scan individuals who have swallowed or hid drugs within them. I've went into a little more detail of some of the things that we have found on individuals and the places that we have found some of these items on these individuals.
Very specific.
It comes as a shock, right? But if some of these items were able to get into the jail, we would have been in much worse shape than we are now. So on average, the body scanner scans about 7,500 scans per year. It is at its end of life. The company no longer supports the parts for the current one, and we are looking at this new one, a little bit smaller, a little bit cheaper than the original one, but we're also looking to get a 6-year maintenance plan to go along with this body scanner that will at least guarantee us at least for another 6 years. So some of the other things that we're looking to buy, we're wanting to get new ballistic shields for our warrants division and our patrol supervisors, as I explained in my email as well too. That we had a situation in a standoff after a pursuit in the middle of the highway, and we realized that as this guy was sitting in his vehicle in the middle of the highway, armed with a weapon, our deputies are standing in the middle of the highway in the wide open, and we're like, they've got no protection here other than their vest. So we wanted to provide them, at least with the supervisors, some extra protection. That way there's always a supervisor on scene. They can use this for some of the safety aspects. I list some other stuff. If there are any questions, I'll be glad to entertain any of those.
Motion to approve.
Seconded. Motion by Mr. Mullenhour, second by Mr. Kessler. Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Thanks,
I'll shut up now. Thank you.
Sheriff,
Yes.
real quick, did you get anything on the cars yet? I'm still having.
No, we're still waiting for it. Are you talking about the cars themselves?
Used vehicles, the one to trade-ins.
Oh, I'll get you those.
I still haven't okay.
Yep, you bet.
All right. Thank you. LaPorte County Prosecutor, permission to appropriate from permission to okay. Some user fees. Thank you. On the amount of $30,000.
Mr. President, motion to approve.
Motion approved from Mr. Yelski, second by Mr. Novak.
Question.
Yes, sir.
Not really a question, it's a statement. The last meeting, there was a lot of people misunderstand about why we were appropriating this money. It's been, the prosecutors are good. They come to us and they let us know what they're spending the money on, but it's their right to spend money as they see. I'm glad that they still follow the procedure, but thank you. I know there was some misunderstanding. I've gotten like 30 phone calls of why we did this, and that's why. But I thank you for following the practice.
All right. Any other questions or concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you much.
You're welcome.
A real quick question, not your fault. How much money is left in that account?
How much money is left in that account, he said?
$287,000, so less 30.
Mike, for the microphone purposes.
Close enough.
$287,000 and change?
Close enough.
257.
Okay.
It's on you. It's okay. All right. LaPorte County Animal Shelter, permission to transfer $5,800 from vet and hospital to food.
Motion to approve.
Motion approved by Mr. Novak.
Second.
Second by Mr. Pressel and Mr. Mullenhour. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. LaPorte County Juvenile Probation, permission to transfer for the following: from receipts to office supplies, the amount of $700, and from receipts to other services and other charges in the amount of $300. Entertain a motion.
Transfer. Motion to approve.
Motion approved by Mr. Novak.
Second.
Second by Mr. Yagowski. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. LaPorte County Auditor, permission to appropriate real estate endorsement fund. Nope, up one. Thank you. LaPorte County Emergency Management. Thank you. Requesting motion to support to purchase a vehicle from Public Safety Lit. Mr. Saby.
Rob Saby with LaPorte County Emergency Management. Here to request support to purchase a new vehicle. I've gave it a packet to everybody. In that packets, I got 3 quotes through the state QPA, which is out of Fort Wayne. I believe I can't remember the name of the company.
Kelly.
But Keller, yeah. And then also in that packet, I gave quotes to transfer the vehicle I have now, the radio and lights and siren, to have them taken out and installed in the new vehicle, along with a cap for the truck. Because we carry a lot of equipment, we carry ladders and batteries, all kinds of stuff that we use for the sirens. And the reason why I'm actually here is about a month ago we got a call from the state. They had surplus MREs from Indianapolis that they wanted to get rid of, that sometime this year they're going to expire, so they were passing them out to anybody that wanted to come and get them. So I borrowed a trailer from Hazmat to drive down there, and it was a struggle getting down there. The truck is just not big enough. There's nothing wrong with the truck. It's a good truck. It's just not big enough for what we use it for. Also in that packet, there's several different trailers that we pull, and 2 or 3 of those trailers that are in that packet I cannot pull because the truck is not big enough. And the reason I kind of want to get a new one is because that way we can get the towing package that we need, which upgrades the braking, the tires, the suspension, all that. So, I know Mr. George, he's talked about trading a vehicle or something, but that wouldn't be a bad idea if that vehicle had, the towing capability and all that with it. So, that's where I'm at today. That's why I'm here.
The current truck is a 6-cylinder?
The current truck is a 6-cylinder, and it's a half-ton. The truck that I'm requesting is it's a 1-ton. Like I said, that one generator that's a 125,000 K generator. I cannot pull it with that truck we have now. So I'd have to find somebody, or if we needed that in an emergency. Also, there's several trailers that Hazmat has that we've actually helped Hazmat out. So if I needed to pull a trailer with Hazmat, there's a couple of trailers I can't pull because they're just, the truck is not big enough. So, they have a foam trailer that's parked out at the county garage that I think it has 2 of those big totes of foam on it, and it's pretty heavy. But anyway, so is there any questions or?
Just for clarity.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Is all of these trailers are a requirement for you to have to pull at one point or another, depending on the event or the emergency or whatever the case may be?
Yeah,
correct?
we're in an emergency response department. Not all the time, but that's part of our job. And when we get called out, it's usually a big deal. I mean, it's not, for normal everyday running. It's, if it's a big event, then we get called out. We had the gas leak last week. We went out, brought our trailer out for that. We had it out there warming, it was a cooling trailer. It was hot out, and we, bring water and stuff for the firefighters so they have a place to rehab and that kind of thing. So, yeah, you can see the different types of trailers that were in that packet. There's several. So
okay. All right. Mr. Novak.
Just if somebody's wondering how come they're looking at a 1 ton versus a 2,500, the 2,500s are in a lot more demand for 2,500s. So you can actually buy a 1 ton for the same price, sometimes even better than a 2,500 because people.
If you're looking at the quotes, one quote I got is for 24, and right now they have a few of the 24s, in surplus. But if you wanted to go to a half or a 3/4 ton, you're going to have to get either a 25 or a 26, and the price is going to be higher. So,
okay.
And on, could I ask
Go ahead.
And I've discussed it quite a bit with Rob, Director Saby on this, and with the used vehicle the vehicle that he's got now is a 17, I think, 2017?
Actually, I looked it up. It's a 20. It was bought in 19.
Okay, and we probably wouldn't, if this was okayed, we probably wouldn't get much for a trade-in. And I know it was discussed and possibly give that to EMA because they requested
911.
I'm sorry, 911 because they were here 2 months ago on requesting a vehicle, and that one, well, you just mentioned is in good shape. But
Yeah,
it just isn't.
It's got 60,000 miles on it. We've kept, we keep it up. We get oil changed in it, and every 4,000 or 5,000 miles. I put new tires on it. We've had to
Plus
put new
it's got
shocks
a cap,
on it.
I think.
Pardon?
Got a cap.
It's got a
that's
cap.
what they mentioned, yes. Like I say, we usually don't get too much on trade-in, so that might be a easy fix both ways.
May I?
Absolutely.
Is this something that I know Adam and I have talked about and Brett, but is this something that we might want to check with Enterprise to see if that fleet leasing, to see if as a little test thing to see if is there any appetite for that, or no? I mean,
my opinion is the fact is they put in front of us a presentation that claims some lofty savings. In my opinion, it'd be reckless of us to just turn over the entire fleet of vehicles that fall under their capabilities to trial that. We should, but we ought to be responsible stewards of the money and maybe consider some kind of fleet program to see, is it worthwhile or is it not? And if it's for one vehicle, is this the vehicle to do it? Possibly, but I mean, we can't continue to just keep kicking the can down the road when it comes to vehicle costs and assume that we're doing the right thing without trialing something different.
I mean, it's a motion of support anyway, so at the best tonight, because this was not advertised. So
right. So we'd have to investigate it.
So
is what we'd have to do.
We got another month to.
As far as leasing goes, this is a pretty low mileage vehicle, right? This doesn't get nearly the wear and tear as.
No, it's low mileage.
60,000 on it now.
It's right at 60,000 right now. So
I don't know that Enterprise wants high mileage. They don't.
Was that 10, 12,000 a year?
Well, I'm just saying, but if
what they're
saves
looking
us
at.
money
And really what it is not necessarily a lease. This is a fleet management, right? Where they're considering where the mileage is versus the wear versus the value and figure out what the replacement rate should be.
Since we have to hold this over to next month, I'll get some figures from Enterprise from that guy, just so we got something to look at.
Yeah, if there's a chance to talk with him, I'd want to be part of that because I want to see if he's legitimate.
Well, my question would be on the lease would be, the towing package and that, that package that I kind of have on that one. Is that something you request? I mean, I don't know how that all works. I mean, you can get whatever you want, or
they've got those available. Keystone Cooperative leases dualies in the spring for hauling and tankers and everything. So they've got heavy trucks.
whatever you want.
Yeah, I mean, they'll get you if you need a gooseneck ball.
I mean, that's the whole reason I'm here is to make sure we get the right truck. I don't want to, get another truck and not have the
just as an option to make sure. Yeah.
Where do we want this advertised down for next month? I think this is public safety lit 1170. Nice.
Okay. Before Mr. Mollenhauer gets to it, I'm going to ask the 5,235 for radio light and install. Is that by the vendor or is that from the county garage?
That's by a vendor. That's from Chi-Town or Chicago Communications.
Is that worthwhile checking with the sheriff's garage to see if that's...
I can ask them. I know they weren't too happy on doing it, so they don't like doing that anymore. I think they had a vehicle that was in there for about 6 months, and they're not too happy on doing vehicles.
On light installs and things like that?
Right. I mean, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, so, but
I'm sure the sheriff in the corner might be able to help you out with that.
he's probably not listening.
No, he caught me. All right.
I mean, I can ask him. It's not a problem. But
Yeah. Since it's a motion of support, I mean,
it's not
an answer next
that
month.
install is not a real big. I know that Chicago Communications are pretty expensive, but I just kind of went with them because they're the ones that originally installed the radio, and
Okay.
I mean, I'd do it myself if I could, but I can't. So I'm not that good at doing that stuff. So.
All right.
Is this motion of support directing him to place the order or just to advertise
No.
for next month?
Just to wait till next month.
Yeah, he just wants to have probably extended conversation, maybe to entertain it.
All right.
24th.
Be there next month. Was that a motion?
No.
Okay. I'll make a motion to support.
Second.
So motion of support for 1170 from Mr. Novak. Am I putting words in your mouth?
No.
All right. Second by Mr. Mullenhour. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Just before, I just looking at the auditor, just as long as we know we've got that much money in there in case we want to go from there. So as Mr. Keel
that's not
stated,
the
I just
problem.
want to make sure because I'm, maybe advertise a couple other accounts that we have some money in.
We can certainly do that, and I
please.
can have a discussion with the finance committee. We can choose those accounts.
All right. So
For what it's worth, I mean, my personal take would be advertise it and more funds the merrier, just because then it gives
Right.
more options and flexibility. It never hurts to be too open.
You never know.
Well, I will not be advertising out of general. I'll tell you that.
Okay.
thank you. Mr. Yagowski.
The vehicle he has right now is working. I just don't like the support of this, supporting it when it should be advertised for next month. Motion of support should be used for when we need to use it for, not for necessarily just everything that everybody comes up with.
I'm perfectly fine with just saying we're going to
I'm
hold
just
it
saying
over
that,
till
that
next
there's
month.
no hurry. The vehicle's okay. He's going to order, which is fine. I understand why you guys agreed to it, but I don't like when we support this stuff when there's no reason to do it.
Then I'll withdraw my motion. So we'll just hold it over till next month.
I agree.
Table it.
Hold over.
It's going to happen. I mean, it's right. So.
Okay. So we'll hold over.
And he's not going to place an order. If he had to place an order, I'd stay with the motion of support. So.
Fair enough.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks, Rob.
Thank you. Sir.
Email me the specs on that truck.
Okay. Okay.
The cheap one. With the cheap
Gave you a
one.
packet, but
It's in the
didn't want it.
envelope that he gave you.
I know. I didn't take an envelope because all I wanted was the price.
Well, maybe you should get all the information.
See, I
don't do
copy
bids.
Here, you want it?
Don't do bids. All right. It's my marked up one here.
Auditor.
Yep. Oh, yes, there we are. LaPorte County Auditor, permission to appropriate from real estate endorsement fund for shared printer and real estate office in the amount of $5,000.
Now, the share printer is not going to cost us $5,000, but I have $318,000 in that fund, and at some point, we'll need to spend it down. We'll do it wisely. If we don't need anything else, we won't spend anything else. But right now, just so we don't have to keep coming back for little things, little appropriations, this is to go into the real estate office, and so the only thing that fund could be used for is stuff for the real estate office. So, and put myself last so that nobody else had to stay here if they didn't want to. So we didn't hold anybody else because I have to be here.
President. So what's the cost of the printer?
Cost of the printer is roughly between $1,200 and $1,500 with it installed.
Similar to the two that you bought already?
Sorry?
Similar to the two you bought?
No, this is a larger one. This is going to be it's a community use printer. The other printers were $400 and they were
And this has nothing to do with you or anybody else.
No, I get it.
We worked so hard to get these printers into line. I understand the money where it's coming from. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
But we have worked so hard with all the offices to restrict it and to use people to go from one office to the other and use printers. If you go to Michigan City or LaPorte, they have a common printer and they put their codes in and they access it. There's needs and wants. This is like, okay, we'll spend the money because we got it, but we don't really need it.
Oh, no, we need a printer.
Well, then it hasn't been used for, when was the last time you had a printer in that office?
We have one now.
So you're replacing the one we have in there right now.
Mm-hmm.
When I was the auditor. Microphone.
When I was the auditor, and that printer's probably, I'm going to say, 10 to 12 years old. It's one of the old, larger printers, and it's just giving out.
I understand that, but I'm still going to mention the fact that we were able to get these numbers down. This is just another example that we don't walk from one office to the other to print something on.
The real estate office is so busy that would be counterproductive.
Well, maybe that's where the printer should be and not in your office. I'm just saying we need to find other alternatives. You can question all you want.
No, I love the idea if we had a centralized location and if everybody was in one room. We're not.
Understand.
So there's different reasons for doing that. And so it's not something that would be easily workable when you're trying to make look, we're also looking at
it never is.
We're going to have to look at reduced workforce at some point in time.
It never is.
But I'm not going to make it harder for people to work if we don't have to.
It never is. And I'm not saying this is against you. It's
No,
just,
I know.
it's never easy.
You love having this roundabout.
It's never easy, but we worked hard to get to this point. Things are not easy things to do, but they work well, and we have to decide when enough.
I get it.
Just thinking a copy of it.
Yeah.
You're doing in our code.
Two other, no, go ahead.
Well, one thing you mentioned earlier today, I just want to bring it up for the public, right? Talked about where it's public access and charged copies. Is that this machine?
We do, when we make copies, we do get paid for the copies that are made, and it would be off of this machine. So some of the copying costs would come back.
Okay. Mr. Keel.
One was this appropriation advertised?
This didn't have to be because of the fund that it's coming from.
Second question, so only like 1,500 of this roughly is for the printer and the rest is for miscellaneous items?
We don't know what'll come up. We don't know if we have to replace some computers. We're trying to get ourselves on a computer replacement plan so that we don't have to do it. I just don't want to have to keep coming back to you for little things. That's all. I don't plan to spend any more than what we're spending on this printer right now.
But you're here anyway.
Yeah, you're already here.
So reduce the amount. I don't care. Make it 2,500. I don't care.
We just typically have not written blank checks for departments in the past. No offense.
You said the printer cost $1,500?
What's that?
$1,500?
It costs a little over $1,500. So
should not to approve $1,600.
That's fine.
All right. Motion by Mr. Novak for $1,600 not to exceed.
No problem.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Kessler. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Thank you.
Nay. So Yagowski, Mullenhour? Thank you. Mr. Attorney, any comments?
No comments.
Fair enough. Mr. Mullenhour?
Nothing except for that last vote. The reason I voted nay was because I felt that we could trust him with the $5,000. So that's my only comment. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Keel?
Two things. One, can we get the financials for these meetings a little bit earlier? I mean, I'd love to be able to look at them a little bit more in advance.
First of all, we just got a finance committee meeting today. We set up the next one a week earlier. And when you were out of town, you didn't let us know. The minutes went out, and you didn't tell us, and then tonight you sniped at us about the minutes without giving us a chance to fix them. So, let's be fair. And then also in the past couple of days, you've been sending out emails requesting information at the hardest time just before a meeting with a holiday on a Monday.
I mean, I've been sending out requests over the last month.
No.
Yeah.
We're going to go back and we're going to talk about the couple emails in the past couple of days, fine. But I'm not going to go start, I don't want to have this banter. I'm just telling you that we had the minutes earlier. You didn't let us know you were out of town, so we didn't send them to you digitally.
That's
Had
fine.
we known, we could have sent it out and you could have made the corrections and we could have fixed. We had corrections this afternoon that were made.
We have whole packets of information. I go through it. I try to prioritize what I go through. Minutes is usually not the top of that priority list.
Well, then that's your choice.
That being said, my point was to get the financials earlier. I mean, I just want the public to know we're operating a county off of one page of financials. It'd be nice to get a little bit more than that. With
Well, I have asked and said that we would work with the Finance Committee to find out exactly what is needed. Okay? Now, if you want to let them know what more specifically you want, or let me know more specifically what you want, then I'll be happy to give you something more specific.
So as an individual council member, I have to ask the Finance Committee. And
No, ask me. Just ask me.
I have in the past.
Okay? No, you haven't. The emails weren't directed to me.
Well, I asked your staff. Who's the one doing it? All right. Second thing was.
No, we work as a team, so you don't go one way or the other. You tell us both. That way, when somebody's not in the office, I can help and respond to get information to you.
Second thing was a lot of department heads like getting the agendas earlier by email.
There was a problem with which email was selected. Somebody put in another department head titled email, which only had 8 people in it.
Okay.
So we're trying to get that corrected with IT so that this doesn't have a problem again. Every time somebody in the past has told us that they haven't received it, we've had IT check. So this is not the first time that this has happened. We've been trying to get this corrected. Some of it is not always on us, but we are working for solutions. So I know that department heads have contacted us directly. We shoot it to them when that problem happens, but we get it out as early as we can to them.
All right. You good?
Yeah.
Mr. Novak.
Last month, Mr. Yagowski and I made a comment about community corrections out there with the judges and the collection on the tracking devices and different things like that. When I made my comment that we have talked to them, my conversation was not with the judges. My conversation was with the prosecutors. So I never called the judges to say, hey, we need to do something with this. My conversation was with the prosecutors. So I just want to clarify that it was, we kind of assumed that the prosecutor went back and talked to the judges, but I can't answer that. So that's it.
All right. Just in response to that real quick, I did hope to have a meeting with all the judges late next week. Sit down with based off the information I got from Ms. Beatty. Mr. Presley.
No comments.
Mr. Yagowski. Mr. Kessler.
I'm good.
All right. Just real quick, Mr. Keel, I hear your concerns regarding the subcommittees and other concerns with basic operating procedures based within code. I hear the same thing out of Mr. Yagowski and Mr. Novak, being more senior members up here. I'm not, no disrespect, Mr. Molinar, but I think you came in behind him, right?
You're just a senior.
Yeah.
And a man.
But looking into that, I plan to continue to work with our attorney and look at it with an objective eye with him, and just to make sure that here forward, if there's something we have to do different, we have to do it different. But I want to definitely take with the advisement of the attorney. That's what you're here for. All right.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn from Mr. Novak. Come on, somebody.
Really? Second.
Second by Mr. Yagowski. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Man.